They say the market has no compass, but that's a lie. There is a compass, one forged in blood, patience, and price action. Jesse Livermore carried it through bull and bear alike, and every trader who ignores it ends up lost in the fog of speculation. You know the feeling: the market turns against you, the charts blur, and your conviction evaporates like morning mist. You start second-guessing everything. Should I hold, cut losses, add more? Suddenly, your system, your plan, your logic, they vanish. That's when Livermore's compass becomes the only thing that can save you. Have you ever been completely lost in a trend, knowing you should act, but paralyzed by uncertainty? Comment below how you found your way out, or if you're still searching. Every great trader eventually confronts the same reality. The market doesn't reward those who predict, it rewards those who align. Livermore's entire career was built on this paradox. He didn't try to outthink the market. He let the market show him the way. His compass wasn't made of steel, it was made of discipline, observation, and timing. When Livermore entered a trade, he didn't just buy or sell, he listened. He believed the market speaks in subtle whispers long before it screams. Price, volume, and behavior, these were his magnetic north. The market is never wrong, he said. Opinions often are. That one sentence, it's the North Star for every trader who's ever been humbled by a reversal. But here, the trap. In the digital age where screens flash 1,000 opinions per minute, it's never been harder to keep that compass steady. Every tweet, every alert, every chart pattern tries to pull you off course. You start chasing signals, not truth. You start reacting to noise, not trend. And when that happens, your compass, the inner equilibrium of patience and conviction, starts spinning wildly. Livermore faced that same chaos in the ticker-tape rooms of the early 1900s, but his advantage wasn't technology, it was temperament. He didn't need an algorithm, he had awareness. He watched the tape until it told him something, not until he wanted to see something. That difference between wanting to see and waiting to see is the invisible line that separates the successful trader from the broken one. You see, Livermore's compass wasn't about direction, it was about orientation. It reminded him not where to go, but how to stay aligned no matter what the market did. Whether in a raging bull or a grinding bear, he stayed centered, calm, patient, ruthlessly detached. Today, that compass is still within reach for anyone willing to stop chasing and start listening. The question is, where the market going? But am I still facing the right way? And when you lose that orientation, when greed and fear twist your bearings, you don't need more data. You need to remember what Livermore already knew. The market gives clues to those who wait, but confusion to those who rush. Because in speculation, the compass isn't in your charts, it's in your character. Every trader dreams of catching a perfect trend, that smooth, unstoppable move where every candle feels like confirmation of destiny. But here's the cruel truth. The very moment you feel certain you found the trend, that's usually when you're about to lose your way. You see, markets have a twisted sense of irony. The more right you feel, the more dangerous you become. And no one understood that paradox better than Jesse Livermore. Have you ever had a winning streak that made you feel invincible right before everything unraveled? Drop your story in the comments. We've all been there. Livermore once said, "The human side of every person is the greatest enemy of the average investor or speculator." He wasn't talking about fear. He was talking about success. Because after a string of victories, the compass of speculation begins to distort. You stop navigating by rules and start steering by emotion. Think about it, a few profitable trades and suddenly your internal voice changes. It whispers, "You've got this, you can push harder, you're seeing the market clearly now." You start adding size, skipping setups, moving stops, convinced you're in sync with the trend. But what you're really syncing with is your own ego. Livermore knew this intimately. After making and losing fortunes multiple times, he realized the true battle was never against the market. It was against his own perception of control. The more he tried to master the market, the more the market reminded him he was only a participant, never the conductor. That's the paradox of trading. You find clarity in surrender, not domination. Modern traders think of discipline as a set of rigid rules, but for Livermore, discipline was fluid awareness, the ability to adjust without losing alignment. He called it sitting tight. When a stock moved right, he didn't rush to take profits. He waited until the market itself told him the move was done. That's where most traders fail. They think the trend owes them something, a confirmation, a reward, an assurance. But the market owes nothing. It doesn't care if you've been patient or reckless, skilled or lucky. It rewards only those who follow its rhythm without trying to rewrite the tune. And yet that's excruciating, because every instinct you have, the human instinct, screams for certainty. We crave to know what comes next, but Livermore built his edge on not knowing. He said, "It was never my thinking that made the big money for me. It was my sitting." Imagine that, a man who conquered markets not by action but by restraint. That's the hardest truth for modern traders to swallow in an age of overtrading, overanalysis, and constant stimulation. The compass doesn't spin faster because we have more data. If anything, it becomes harder to read. So the paradox remains. You can't fight the market, and you can't fight yourself by force either. You can only align moment to moment with the flow that's already happening. And when you fail to align, when you let your emotions cloud your compass, the market doesn't punish you out of cruelty. It simply reveals who you've become. Because the market isn't testing your strategy, it's testing your identity. There comes a point in every trader's journey where the charts no longer make sense, the rules stop working, and the only voice left is your own, whispering fear, doubt, or worse, false confidence. That's when the market stops being a puzzle to solve and becomes a mirror. And what it shows you isn't the market at all, it's you. That's the trap Jesse Livermore warned us about. The moment when speculation stops being about price and starts being about psychology. Be honest, what's the biggest psychological trap you've faced in your trading? Fear of missing out, revenge trading, overconfidence. Tell me below, because awareness is the first step to freedom. Livermore said it plainly, the market does not beat them. They beat themselves because though they have brains, they cannot sit tight. That line slices straight through time. It doesn't matter if you're trading tick charts on a mobile app or reading the ticker tape in 1929, the enemy is the same. It's the restless, compulsive need to act. The inability to let the market breathe, to let your edge unfold without interference. The core problem isn't ignorance, it's impatience. The modern trader's downfall is speed. We're surrounded by dopamine, flashing screens, instant fills, constant updates. We've trained our minds to equate activity with progress. But Livermore's compass teaches the opposite. He waited days, sometimes weeks, for confirmation. He built positions slowly, deliberately, as if sculpting marble from chaos. He knew something we've almost forgotten. The market's greatest deception is movement. It makes you believe opportunity exists everywhere, when in reality, true opportunity is rare. Most traders lose not because they misread the market, but because they refuse to wait for the moment that actually matters. This is where the psychological trap deepens. You start justifying small losses, it's just noise. You ignore warning signs, the trend will come back. Slowly, your compass starts spinning. You're no longer guided by the market's truth, but by your own need for validation. Livermore called that the inner tilt, a drift so subtle that by the time you realize you're lost, the damage is already done. Every trader must eventually confront this. Your worst drawdown isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in discipline. Once that breaks, no system can save you. So how do you escape the trap? You don't, you transcend it. You stop chasing certainty and start mastering response. You learn to read your emotional state with the same precision you read a chart. You create distance between impulse and execution. and you remind yourself again and again that the goal is not to predict, not to win every trade, but to preserve clarity in motion. Livermore's compass was never about pointing north. It was about reminding him when he drifted off course. And that's something every trader needs today more than ever, a personal anchor in a market designed to unbalance you. Because the truth is, no algorithm, no mentor, no signal service can replace what Livermore carried inside, that quiet conviction that discipline is freedom and patience is profit. So next time you find yourself spinning, chasing entries, fighting exits, doubting your plan, pause, step back, find your compass again. Not the one on your screen, the one within you. Because the greatest trade you'll ever make is mastering yourself before you try to master the market.